Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. That's enough of that crap. I've been asked what have I been doing for the last 4 years. I haven't been on television for 4 years. People say, what have I been doing? I actually retired. I still am retired. But to keep myself during my retirement in a manner to which I'm accustomed to, I have to work. It's a kind of Irish retirement. People say, what have I been doing over the last 4 years? Well, according to statisticians, over the last 4 years, as an average person, I sleep an average of 8 hours every night. Now, 8 hours over a period of 4 years, that's 16 months. Cooking and eating takes up 3 hours every day, so that's 6 months. Telephoning people 3 hours a day, that's another 6 months. According to statisticians, as a city dweller, I probably spend 3 hours every day slowly maneuvering through traffic jams. So there's another 3 months. Time spent bathing over a 4-year period is 2 months. Shaving is another 2 months. Time spent on the lavatory, 3 months. Not all in one go. So that means I get up in the morning, shave, go to the kitchen, eat, make a few phone calls, get in a traffic jam, come home, have a crap and go to bed. What else has changed over the last 4 years? I've changed. I'm 4 years older. I don't actually... Some people do object to getting old. I don't. Not when you consider the alternative. It really is. I mean, it really is my ambition just to get old. I just want to get old. I just want to get older and older and older and older. I actually want to get my telegram from the Queen and keep going. It's my ambition to be able to look back on my old age. And in this aging process, as we age, we all have a kind of a different, totally different attitude to what we would call life expectancy, the years in life expectancy. I mean, when you're in your teens, aging has got nothing to do with you. Aging has got to do with other people, old people. Old people get aged. And then when you're 20, you kind of think, if I live to be 40, I'll be happy. 40 to 20-year-old is ancient. Decay. Christ, I'd rather be dead than 40. And then when you're 30, you're thinking, geez, at 40? Surely I'm entitled to live a few more years than 40. How about 55? Go on, how about 55? Give me 55. I'll be happy with 55. You get to 55, 75, 75! You get to 75, you think, shit, 76, please God, 76! Then when you're 83, it makes no difference because you've gone. You're into a second childhood thinking, when I grow up, I'm going to be an engine driver. And then there's all those arseholes. You ever come across those arseholes who say things like, I never want to be old. I don't want to grow old. They're always around kind of 30, 33 years of age. I never want to grow old. I never want to reach a situation where I'm totally helpless, incapable of taking care of myself. Totally dependent on other people. I don't want to reach that stage. I'd kill myself first. Crap. Because by the time they get to that point, they're a bit gaga. They know they want to kill somebody, but they can't remember who it is. One of the things, increasingly, I'm a member of the older generation, is that we envy the young. I don't envy the young, their youth, or their future. What I envy in the young, it's their energy. I mean, we older generation, we try to conserve our energy. They waste it. I walk up the stairs, people go... I carefully descend stairs. The bloody mountain goat gone by me. It's rather like being somebody with limited spending, watching somebody who's got an open checkbook. And the whole kind of thing, I don't mind them having the energy. They don't know how to use it. That's the trouble. They have all that energy, but they don't know how to use it. I know how to use it. I don't have it. They have this extraordinary ability to burn the candle at both ends. Have the capability of staying up all night. Not to mention the sexual prowess, which is the same thing, I suppose. The powers of recuperation. I mean, when you get old, you begin to notice the powers of recuperation are enormous. I mean, I go out in the booze. It takes me 3 or 4 days to get over it now. Walking around with blinding headaches, amnesia, nausea, appetite's gone. Bloody tadpoles running in front of my eyes. The young, totally different. They'll hammer 14 pints into themselves. Whack, in one go. Spend 3 hours in a discotheque, jumping up and down. Another hour trying to tell this female that the man that's standing in front of her, this hulk with pimples, pissed out of his mind, is Adonis. They'll get home, they'll spend an hour and a half with their head in the bowl, vomiting. 2 hours sleep, they're up, down into the kitchen. Where's the food? And they'll sit there and half an hour, they're going through a box of Crispies, a loaf of bread, pint and a half of milk, 6 eggs and a pound of bacon. They sit there finishing up, scratching themselves, belching, farting, saying, when's lunch? Not only in the aging process, interesting, not only psychologically what actually happens as we age, we ourselves age, we tend to protect ourselves from the aging process by seeing ourselves in a different age. And this happens to us all. We all see ourselves in the age where we feel most suited. I walk down the road, I think to myself, maybe 30. That's how I think, 30. I'm going down the road swinging, 30-year-old. That's how I see myself. And then I see myself reflected in the shop window. And there's a moment of recognition, and I think, who's that old bastard over there? And one of the surest telltale signs of aging is your skin. Your skin losing what is called the elasticity of the skin, the stretch. When you're young, you have a tight-fitting skin. As you get older, it gets looser. Do you remember as a child? Do you remember as a child pulling the skin on the back of your hand? You pull it like that. Pull it right, let it go, whack! Straight back. I do that now, look. 8 bloody seconds. It's happening all over the body. It's like some great gravitational pull is on me. Everything's beginning to sag, everything. And the eyes sag, the jowls, the boobs, the belly, the bum, bloody kneecaps. It's all drooping. It's happening to us all. What is actually happening is your skin is losing its elasticity. That's what's actually happening. Skin actually is quite an interesting subject. Do you know that we all shed skin? Do you know that? Do you know that we shed skin? Each and every one of us, every man, woman, and child in the world shed skin. Over an hour, each and every one of us shed something like 10,000 minute scales of skin. Over a 3-day period, we shed 1 total layer of skin. This is fact. This is not makeup. This is fact. Do you know that something like 90% of the dust in the world is made up from dead human skin? How do you feel about that? You think you're dusting your house. You're not. You're just moving your grandmother around. And also people think in the aging process that grey hair is a sign of aging. It can be a feature. It can be a part of the aging process, but it's not necessarily the cause of grey hair. You can become grey because of various different reasons. It can be hereditary. A malfunction of the genes can cause greyness. Anemia causes greyness. Lacking vitamin B and vitamin F causes greyness. Vast quantities of liquids cause greyness. Shock causes greyness. Terror, fear, shock can actually, it's been recorded that a man went from being totally black-haired to totally white-haired in something like 7 minutes. No, Now, it's an interesting thing. I mean, the body hair on my body, I'm going grey on the top of my head, but the rest of my body hair is black. My eyebrows are black, my beard is black, my hands are black, my legs, black, chest, black. I noticed recently that I was having a bath, I noticed that I have my first white pubic hair. Now, what did he see that the others didn't see? Can you imagine one of those little grey hairs, or little hairs turning around to the grey hair and saying, what did you see? I saw. Ah, another one. 2 greys. The hair is interesting because, I don't know, it's a change in metabolism, but the hair, the texture, the quality of the hair over the years changes itself. It becomes more coarse and harsh. For example, years ago, all my eyebrows were uniform in length. Well, about 3 or 4 years ago, I'm just sitting there kind of talking to someone, as you casually do, and I'm just stroking my eyebrows, just like that. And I suddenly come across a hair which doesn't belong in there. I just pull it and it goes. Christ, it was about 1.5 inches long, bloody hair. Now, that was abnormal at that time. Now, it's the normal. All the little ones have gone. My eyebrows are shooting off in all directions. 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, 1 inch. Isn't it amazing? My ears, which years ago had no hairs in them, now have forests, clumps, bushes. Not growing into my ear, coming out of my ear. My nose is a hirsute factory. They just keep on descending like a bloody forest. I attack them with scissors, tweezers. Now, what in the name of Christ is happening to my body? I'm losing the hair off the top of my head, and it's coming out of every orifice in my face. And there are other things in the aging process. Is that your eyes start to change. They suddenly go. And you don't realize, that's extraordinary, you don't realize it's your eyesight. I actually thought it was something to do with my arms. I mean, I pick up a book, and I go... So I went to see an optician, and he explained, in that knowledgeable way that they all have, arseholes. Well, it's just a natural change. It's your body evolving. It's nature's way of protecting you. Oh, what the hell is that about? Why do you need to see things that are further away when you're old? Surely you need to see the things that are bloody nearer to you, like the steps, curves, other pedestrian, lampposts. I can see the bus at 300 yards. I can't find a bus stop. I went to see this optician. Hey, I got my glasses. I got my first pair of glasses. Do you know the most amazing thing about getting your first pair of glasses? As soon as you get these glasses, your bloody memory goes. I put my glasses on, take them off in this second. I have no idea where they are. I'm walking around like a dickhead thinking, where are my glasses? I actually spent half of my life, my diminishing years, looking for bloody glasses. I write myself little notes now. Your glasses are on the mantel shelf. I find a note, I can't read it, I've got no bloody glasses. Children, my children who are caring, concerned, loving children have lost all patience with me. When I'm looking for my glasses, I'm groping around like an idiot, whimpering like a fool. You see my glasses? Oh, for Christ's sake, Daddy! You geriatric old fart! But they're right in front of you, right under your nose. Can't you see them? If I could bloody see them, I wouldn't need them. What I do now is when I take them off, I put them far away so I can see them. Amazing. The optician, he said to me, he said, well, how about contact lenses? I can't even find the big bastards. How would I find those little? The amazing thing about contact lenses, I tried them. I mean, they have this kind of panache for soup. They love soup. have contact lenses and a bowl of soup, they leap out of your eye. And you'll never say, excuse me, I've lost my contact lens in the soup. You go through the whole thing, you go. You're sitting opposite somebody who's thinking, what sort of a wanker is that? You ever see people who lose their contact? They look like Hitler. They go, ooh. The sad thing, in many ways, too, about the aging process is a memory. And how pompous in youth we are about memory. I remember years ago, every Christmas, we would have kind of relatives, ancient relatives, that holy spirit of Christmas and peace on earth and goodwill to everybody. We used to invite all these kind of idiot aunts that we had, grandmothers. And they all used to sit around. And they all talk. And they'd watch television or something like that. And there'd be some very interesting movie on. And they just talk the whole way through it. They'd talk about it, but they never knew what they were talking about. They'd go, oh yes, yes, she was in that, oh yes, she was, yeah. Wasn't she married? Yes, that was before she went off with the other one. And I'm sitting thinking, you old geriatrics, what the hell are you talking about? No, it's me. No, I'm sitting in my own house with my children. I'm going, wasn't he in that? Memory's an extraordinary thing, memory. I mean, quite recently, an example of loss of memory. Within split seconds. I'm in my house. I'm downstairs in my house. There's something that I want, which is upstairs. I know what it is, and I know exactly where it is upstairs. And I leave the sitting room, I walk across the corridor, go 3 steps up the stairs, and now I have no idea what it is I'm looking for. So I think, well, reason this through. Don't go up and look for something you don't know what you're looking for. Sit down on the stairs, work your way back to the point when you thought what it was you wanted. In 2 minutes, I have no bloody idea whether I was upstairs coming down or downstairs going up. And age not only changes you physically, it changes your attitude to life. For example, now, around 1950, there was a movie made called Sunset Boulevard, you might remember. And it starred a lady called Gloria Swanson. And in it, she played a 60-year-old lady who had been a star in the silent screen. And in it, she picks up a destitute young writer and turns him into her playboy. And there's a scene in this movie where she seduces him into her bed. And she's 60-odd years of age, and she's lying there. Now, I'm in the cinema. I'm 17 years of age at the time. And she's lying there with a face plus a mask of makeup. She got eyelashes that look like caterpillars running across her face. She holds up her arms and they wobble, all that loose flesh. Her mouth is like a bloody big great slash across, and she lies there and she goes, kiss, kiss me. I'm in the cinema going, when he kisses her, I'm going, change in attitude. That movie was on television recently. I'm sitting there, they go through that whole scene, she said, kiss me, and I'm thinking, shit, I fancy her. Actually, I think that the aging process would be much more interesting. Instead of being born young and growing old, wouldn't it be better to grow old and become young? Wouldn't that be better? Then you'd know how to deal with your youth when you got there. You'd have all the energy to do all the right things. You wouldn't lose hair on the way back, you'd grow hair. Your teeth would come back, your eyesight, all those wrinkles would disappear, and you'd finish up being breastfed. Jesus, what a wonderful life. And in this, I suppose, in our lives, in this day and age, this time. Time is a transient thing, and yet somehow or another we want to grab a hold of it and keep it. We actually, in reality, talk about saying things like, we've got to save time. You can't save time. Time's gone. Motor manufacturers will make as a selling point a feature of the car that your car can go from 0 to 60 in 5.8 seconds, thereby saving you 2 seconds. And people actually get wrapped up in this. They talk to each other. Does your car really go from, does it really go from 0 to 60 in 5.8 seconds? Yes. Yes, it does. Shit, I wish I had a car like that. You really saved 2 seconds? Yes, last week I saved 1.5 minutes. When it comes to talking points, you see people racing around the country. People don't see the country, don't see things, don't experience things. They get in the car. People come down from Glasgow. I did it in 4.5 hours. From Glasgow to London, 4.5 hours. Did you really? Yeah. How long does it normally take you? 7 hours. You saved 2.5 hours. What did you do with the time you saved? I bore the arse off people talking about it. I was in Hong Kong recently, and I'm walking by a shop, and I see a clock, a little watch, not a clock, watch. The changing in the clock. And there's nothing there. There's no face. It's just a black face. There's nothing. There's no fingers, no nails, no numbers, nothing. And I said, well, what is it? He said, no, it's a talking clock. I said, what? It's a talking clock. It's tell you the time. I said, the clock tells you the time? He said, yes. You walk down the road, all you have to do is do that, and pressure of rest, activate, speaking voice. Saves you all the time of doing that. You don't have to do that. You walk down the road and a little voice at the end of your wrist says, 4:42. 4:42 and 30 seconds. I mean, people get stuck in the watch. Watches are not watches anymore. Watches used to be something you told the time with. Now, they're a kind of advanced technological machine, a miracle of engineering. They're not just watches. They're calculators, computers. People talk about it, say, oh, look at this, see this? Extraordinary watch. See, not only does it tell the time here in London, but you see this little dial over here to the left of the 12, that tells me the time in San Francisco. This one on the right here by the 2 tells me the time in Tokyo, and this one down here at the bottom tells me the time in Vancouver. Extraordinary, isn't it? Isn't that wonderful to be able to tell the time? Do you want to know what time it is in San Francisco? No. You don't want to know what time it is? I don't want to know what time it is in San Francisco. Yes, I would want to know. I'm in London. What the hell would I want to know what the time is in San Francisco? Oh, how about Tokyo? Piss off. It's a calculator. Really? Yes. Wonderful. It's a musical box, memory bank. And they'll say things like, when's your birthday? I go, 6th of July. All right, just a second. I'll wait. And suddenly, the calendar and the clock will go, 6th of July, and the little watch will go. There's a stopwatch. Stopwatch. I said, what do you want a stopwatch for? He said, well, it's very handy if I'm doing something. And I like to know how long it takes me. When I started, I just pressed a button, and when I finished, I go, I said, well, like what? He said, well, I'm making love. When I'm making love, it's very interesting to see how long I take to make love. Just before I enter, I go. And when I finish, I go 3.5 seconds. There's a compass, you see? There's a compass there, look. North, south, east and west. No. Why do you want to know? Why do you want to know? What do you want a compass for? What do you watch? He said, well, it's very handy. I'd like to know where I'm going, which direction I'm going. When I'm making love, I can go north by northwest, west, south, 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 by east, west, north. People actually say things like, shockproof. Shockproof. I'm going to get one of those shockproof watches and go, the Pope's a poof. And they have things that work. They'll boast about a watch that can tell you the time at 50 fathoms. Who in the name of Christ is going to ask you what time it is at 50 fathoms? You're down there. You're in the murk, the gloom. Somebody goes out of the murk. Would you like to know what time it is in 10 minutes? I mean, how we live by time, how we live by the watch, the clock. We're brought up to the clock. We're brought up to respect the clock, admire the clock, punctuality. We live a life to the clock. All right? You wait to the clock. You go to work to the clock. You clock in to the clock. You clock out to the clock. You come home to the clock. You eat to the clock. You drink to the clock. You go to bed to the clock. You get up to the clock. You go back to work to the clock. You do that for 40 years of your life. You retire. What they fucking give you? A clock. One of the greatest killers in our society is not wars or disease or disasters, it's stress. Stress is a great killer, and yet we need stress. We need stress to give us the energy to allow us to do the things that we want to achieve. Yet in our society, what we actually do, we create stress, we have the energy, but we don't know how to get rid of it. For example, in prehistoric times, an ancient man, well, not so much an ancient man, because the lifespan of prehistoric man was only about 22 years of age. So he couldn't be a 22-year-old ancient man. But if this ancient man was walking down a path and went around a corner and there was a saber-toothed tiger there, he would immediately go into stress. Now, what actually happens to the body is that the brain, the hormones, and the sympathetic nervous system come into operation to give you great energy, great strength and energy to deal with the situation that has been caused by the stress. And in this situation, the prehistoric man, through the energy, would have enough strength to pick up a boulder, which... And in this situation, the prehistoric man, through the energy, would have enough strength to pick up a boulder, which in normal circumstances he couldn't even budge, pick up the boulder and brain this big, long-toothed pussycat. Either that, or have enough strength to outrun the beast, or even leap up 10 feet into a tree, where the other saber-toothed tiger is waiting. But by doing all this, you see, they get rid of their energy. In our society, what's actually happened, we don't know how to get rid of the energy. You're sitting in your office, and your boss comes in. And he's very demeanor, he's very style, whatever it might be. He will put you in stress, slight stress. He'll just look at you and go, you. And immediately, you become stressful inside. You're thinking, why me? What does he want? What have I done? And if he calls you by your surname, you're really in stress. And what is actually happening now, your heart starts to beat, your pressure goes up, your blood pressure goes up, there's blood zooming through your heart, more oxygen through to the brain, your whole body is filling up with adrenaline. Pure energy whipping around. Your legs are beginning to get tight, muscles tighten up, you're beginning to sweat. This adrenaline is just pumping, pumping, and pumping, around and round and round. And what you should do is run away or pick up a chair and brain the bastard. But we don't. All that energy just keeps on churning and churning around and around and around. Turns to sugar and fat, which causes extraordinary damage to the system. And we don't, even continuing that stress, you sit there, you take all these recriminations from the boss, whatever it might be, and then you start to recriminate against yourself. You start to accuse yourself of being a weakling. What the hell did I take that? Who the hell does he think he is? For Christ's sake. I'm not here to listen to that crap. Why don't I stick your job up your arse? He's down the corridor by now, but you're going through it. And not only that, you still have the stress, but you pass the stress on to other people, sympathetic people. Your secretary will say, "Can I help you?" "Piss off, you! You bloody bimbo! Go back to your typist!" You get in your car, you're driving home, some totally innocent pedestrian on a pedestrian crossing, walking to Talk about stress. I mean, how stressful it is for a child to sit in a pushchair. You ever watch them in pushchairs? They're zonked with stress. They're on that level of exhaust pipes, pumping lead and carbon monoxide into them. Have you ever watched a mother with a pushchair across the road? Have you? What goes into the road first? Have you ever, any time, seen a mother come to a crossing and back out into the road? They don't do that. The child is a test pilot for the safety of the road. What's going on? The kid is there. It means there's a truck coming. But... My mother, when I was a child, my mother used to discipline me through my absent father. I don't mean he was absent, he was just at work. She would say, "Don't do that. Don't do that. If Daddy saw you do that, Daddy would be very, 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 very angry. Daddy does not like that. Do not talk to Mommy like that. Daddy would not like it. It doesn't matter what way Daddy talks to Mommy, you don't talk to Mommy like that. Daddy will be very angry with you and he'll beat your bottom. No, you cannot have another sweet. Daddy says too many sweets are bad for you. I personally would let you have another one, but Daddy says no. Daddy says they're bad for the teeth and worms will grow in your tummy and come out and eat the sweet shop." No, Daddy will not play piggybacks with you when he comes home. Daddy will be very tired. And you know what Daddy's like when he's tired? He gets very angry. And if he's very angry, he'll probably stop your pocket money and lock you in the cellar. Oh, my father knew nothing about this. He loved me. I think he loved me. He'd come home and go, "Hello, David, give us a kiss." Ah, I was gone. I was behind my mother. My father said, "What's the matter with him?" No idea. He's obviously frightened of you. He didn't know it, but he was a monster. It's extraordinary how we put things on people. I mean, what about the mythology we teach to children? The mythology of the wicked witches. I mean, what about that for stress? Oh, the bogeyman. I mean, we actually say this to people we love. A bogeyman. The Sandman. Who is this lunatic? The Sandman. My parents used to say, "The Sandman is coming." Who? The Sandman, it's time to go to bed, because the Sandman's going to come along and sprinkle sand in your eyes and you'll go to sleep. Would you sleep? Is there any adult in the world would sleep in a house knowing there's a bloody lunatic walking around with a bag of sand? He's going to let you have 2 handfuls in the eyes when he gets you. The great, long, red-legged scissor man. What about him, who cuts off your thumbs and puts them in a bag? We had the humpty-backed leprechaun, for Christ's sake. Who'll put you in a sack and take you to live beneath the hawthorn tree. Jesus, I used to lie in bed like a... I'd wet the bed. My mother would come in in and say, why? Look, you wet the bed. I'm going to tie a knot in that. That's what I'm going to do. Why did you wet the bed? Why didn't you get up and go to the lavatory? I'm going, and she goes, you are so silly. You're so silly. You are so stupid. There is no such thing as a Sandman. Or a long-legged sitter, or a humpty-backed leprechaun. There's no... But you said there were. I know I said there were, but I was only telling you things so you would have something to think about when you went to sleep. And even if they did exist, do you actually think that Mummy would allow any of these things to get near her little boy? Now I'm going to clean you up. I'm going to clean the bed up and put on nice pajamas. And please, now go to sleep. Otherwise, I'll have to phone the police and they'll take you away and put you in a cell. School was quite terrifying, too. The first time I could go to school. There's another. My father said to me, there'll be a boy in a school who'll want to hit you. First day in school, somebody will want to hit you. Now, that is a school bully. Now, all school bullies are cowards. And he'll only hit you if he thinks that you're frightened of him. So if you hit him first, he will run away. I was expelled in 2 weeks for being a school bully. Every new kid who came on, I used to beat the shit out of him. Do you actually know the most stressful place for the average person is the home? You'd actually think, in reality, that the home is the one place where you're safe from the tribulations of life. But it's the opposite. All even kind of petty incidents take on their own life in their own home. Now, I had 2 brothers who snored. Now, if people don't know about snoring, that's okay. But anybody who knows and lives with a snorer knows exactly how stressful it is. It is extraordinary. Extraordinary thing about snorers never have any trouble going to sleep. There is no such thing as an insomniac snorer. They get into bed, good night, gone. Now, it takes me probably 30 or 40 minutes to go to sleep. Always has. So, as far as my 2 brothers were concerned, we used to share the same room. I would go to bed an hour or an hour and a half earlier than the other 2 to try and get to sleep before they came up the room. And I'd be up there half an hour and I'd still be awake and everything. Of course, I've only got an hour. Oh, shit, it's 42 minutes. Oh, 18. Oh, my goodness Christ. 7. Oh, shit, they're on the stairs. There's another night gone. And they'd arrive in and I'd gone. Now, the 2 of them, they didn't snore the same. This is the only thing, they didn't snore. Brother Peter had a snore like, because old people are individual and snore. He had a... And to listen to that, Jesus, all night. And I'd shove him at the time and he'd go. And I mean, you start to play games with it. I used to cut out bits of paper and lick them and stick them to his lips. And he'd go, and they'd all go, oh. And then he'd go. I used to get bath bubbles and rub it all around his mouth, hoping that a great balloon would come out one day, and he'd disappear out the window. It would have been lovely. John, my other brother, had what I would call a long single snore. He would start. Then it would stop. And you'd expect a gush of air to come out. Nothing. Not a sound. Within 2 seconds, he'd start again. I think he had a leak in his arse. I don't know what it was. and now I'm going out. It's not only people that cause stress, but there are places that cause stress, things that cause stress. The bathroom, I suppose, is perhaps one of the most stressful places. Toothpaste tubes. Have you ever come across toothpaste tubes? People don't put the top on, and it congeals, and it just sits there, and you're the one that gets it, and you're going, oh, Christ. And suddenly, in the mirror, there's got to be a large on it. The soap. You've seen a soap in a pool of water. How about that for stressfulness in the house? Looks like a decomposing scallop. Or the stinking flannel, which goes very beautifully with the damp, soggy towel which is thrown in the corner. Have you ever sat on the loo reading the paper? And the blind suddenly goes... One of the things I love to do, I love to bath. I mean, I actually do love to bathe. I love to languish is the word. I really do. I just love to sit in a bath. I listen to music, and I kind of peruse, I think about material, I think about gags, I think about life in general, and it's wonderful. And I never get out of a bath. I don't actually want to leap out of a bath when I'm finished. I like to kind of let it hang on. What I do, I get the plug with my toes, and I pull it out with my toes. And then as the water recedes, I slightly like to go down with it. Just to see how long I can stay there without... The worst thing in the world is to pull the plug and nothing happens. It's like a kind of stagnant pool with me in it. The water doesn't go anywhere. And I have to go to the plug hole. And you go... Oh, Jesus Christ. A wadge of hair. Have you come across that? And it's never yours. It's always everybody else's. And it comes out like the monster from the deep. You go, and you always try to flick it into the lavatory. You always, and you miss. It hits the wall. What is it? I mean, why can't the young, in a sense, why can't the young people in the world, why can't they clean the bath when they finish it? They can't even pick up a hint. I said to my son a couple of years ago, I said, you know, we have one of the oldest baths in the world. He said, really? How do you know, Daddy? I said, I count the rings. And I cleaned the bath. I cleaned the bath. I mean, I didn't when I was young, but I do now. And I've tried to teach my own children that, but I do now. And I've tried to teach my own children that when you've had a bath, clean it out for the next person, because you know what it's like when you go into a bathroom and there's that big grimy thing. I get out of the bath, I clean the bath. I go back for another bath, the grime is there. And I go through this kind of question. I'll say to my daughter, I said, do you have a bath? No, Daddy, I didn't. You didn't? No, I didn't. And I'll hear myself saying stupid things like, are you sure? And she said, yes, Daddy, I'm sure. I'm 22 years of age. I do know when I take my clothes off. I do know when the bath is full of water. I do know I am capable of recognizing these things. I haven't had a bath. I go to my son, have you had a bath? Mm. Three of us in the house, nobody's had a bath. Mr. Bloody Nobody lives in our house. Has a bath, makes hundreds of phone calls, empties the fridge and pisses off. And the great disappearing lavatory paper act. Have you ever come across that? Nobody uses lavatory paper. But it always goes. I've had my children for years. I brought them up and I'm saying to them, listen, let me explain. Let me explain just very simple physics. The physics of this. And when you take something away from something which is large, it diminishes. It gets smaller. Do you understand? And I have them all in the lavatory with me. And I'm saying, look, this is a lavatory roll. Look. And when I start to take bits of paper off, the big piece here begins to get smaller. And they're all saying, dickheads off again. And I said, explain it. When you get to the end of it, you'll know there is no paper there, because there is a little cardboard roll. That means all the paper has gone. So when you see the roll, you get off your bum, go to the cupboard, and bring back another roll. Because no adult, when you go to the lab, you don't check to see that the paper is there, do you? And you never notice it's all gone until you've finished. Or they've left one sheet. The older you get in life, the more, I suppose, in a sense, intelligent you should be, because you've gone through the experiences. The more capable you should be, certainly, with dealing with stress. But there are times when you actually think that you've got stress beaten. And then somebody invents or brings in another development. My pet hate at the moment, my real pet at the moment, junk mail. I suffer from junk mail. Now, who needs it? Who wants it? Who in the name of Christ reads it? I did, to start off with. I was taken in by it. I would pick it all up and I go, oh, look at that. Hey, look, I've got a prize. I've got a prize. I've got a prize. Bloody dickhead, I've got a prize. Look at this. Hey, wow-wee. Somebody wants to sell me a book that's worth £10 for 50p. Shit. There's somebody in the south of France with a villa who wants me to share the holidays with them. And I think, why are they doing this? I know why they're doing it. They want my money, that's why they're doing it. It's a con. And not only is it a con, but what they actually do is they play on your emotions. They draw your emotions into it. They draw in kind of things like, they show you the wrong side of yourself. They show you greed and avarice, one-upmanship, all those various things. Then they'll play on your kindness and your generosity, and they'll kind of, your concern for your family or your fear for your family. I mean, isn't it kind of extraordinary to wake up in the morning and the first piece of junk mail you come across is so enlightening because it comes from a life assurance company, which says, I mean, I read it. It says, "Dear Mr. Allen, do you know that you could die today? By natural causes or by accident. Now, isn't it time that you began to think about your family?" I'm thinking, you arsehole. Why do I want to think about them? I'm dying, for Christ's sake, it's me. Do you know that psychologists tell us that the very act of putting three things through a door have sexual connotations? And that to some people, it's precisely like having sexual intercourse. Now, I have no idea whether that's true or not. But if it is true, it means that I'm being screwed by 20 strangers a day. Have you ever been upstairs and listened to the junk mail come through the door? Sounds like a cow shitting through your letterbox. Now let me tell you, anybody that runs a junk mail company who happens to be watching this show tonight, let me make one thing quite clear. Really, I do not want to buy a house. I do not want to sell a house. I do not want to share a house. I do not want my legs waxed, or my face waxed, or my pipes plumbed. I don't want a new conservatory, a new roof, or a new nose. I don't want to buy a book, play bingo, or have all the fat sucked out of my body. What I want is peace and quiet. So would you please, it's a favor to me, take your brochures, take your papers, take your pamphlets, and your vouchers, and very gently, very deliberately, but quite dignifiedly, stick them up your arse. I should have said with great dignity, quite dignifiedly. Quite dignifiedly. The world is here to test us. I mean, I love incongruous things like parks. When I go to a park, there's all the rules and regulations. People don't want you in the parks. No ball games, no skating, no kites, no cycling, no music. This is a recreational area. Piss off. Walk on the path. The path's very important. Walk on the path. Do not walk on the grass. Do not stand on the grass. Do not lie on the grass. Do not hop or roll on the grass. Get off the grass! Don't touch the flowers. Don't pick the flowers. Don't smell the flowers. How could you? They're surrounded by grass. You're not allowed on the grass. Don't climb the trees. Don't swing from the trees. Do not interfere with the trees. What sort of a kinky bastard do they take me for? Sitting around groping oaks all day. I lived near a place which had a small pond. Invariably had ducks on this pond. And I used to go through this every morning. This was years ago. And there's a big sign in the pond which says, "Do not feed the ducks." Feeding of the ducks is forbidden. Feeding of the ducks can lead to prosecution and a possible fine by order of whatever authority it was. And I used to go through there, and there always seemed to be one little duck sitting in the water. And I would go by, and he'd look at me and go, I used to talk to him. I got on talking terms. I said, "I'm sorry. I'm not allowed to." Look, big sign there. I know you can't read, but it says, "I'm not allowed to feed you. I'm terribly sorry." And one day, in the winter, I go through. There's a sheet of ice. And there he is. And it looks like he's huddling. And as I walk by, I go, and I broke. I went off and got a sandwich. And I came back, and I'm surreptitiously feeding him. I'm feeding the duck like I'm a spy, for Christ's sake. And he's in it. And suddenly, from nowhere, I have a lunatic in a uniform beside me. "What are you doing, sir?" My friend, the duck, gone. He's gone. Pure loyalty. Whack, gone. What do you think you're doing, sir? What? What do you think you're doing, sir? What? I'm just not doing anything. I'm just... All right, sir. Let's put it another way. Can you read? Yes, I can. Can you read that sign? Yes, what does it say? Will you read it? Yes, sir. Well, read it! Out loud! Do not feed the ducks. It's forbidden to feed the ducks. Feeding of the ducks can lead to a possible fine. And what does it mean? What do you mean? What does it mean? What does the sign mean? It means I'm not allowed to feed the ducks. Means what? I'm not allowed to. And what did you do? I fed the duck. And that means you can be prosecuted. No. Please don't prosecute me. Don't challenge me. I didn't mean I'll never do it again. Oh, God. If you summons me, I'll be in court. Oh, Jesus, my children will know that I feed ducks and Do you ever watch this? I love the stress the dog owners go through. See them out there with their dogs sniffing and farting and crying. Do you ever watch dogs in... Do you ever really watch dogs in park? When they meet another dog, what do they do? What does a dog do when it meets another dog? They never face each other. So, is this Uranus? Yes. Do you mind me sniffing Uranus? No, no. Are these your testicles? Yes. Do you mind me sniffing Uranus while you're sniffing my tomato? That was good. What do we do now? Well, there's some turd over there. Let's eat that. And then the master goes, hey, boy, come on, boy, come on, hey, boy, hey, boy, hey, ho, 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 come on, good boy, give Daddy a kiss. Hello. Have you ever watched those owners with the dogs playing with the stick game and the rock game? Go, fetch. Go, boy, fetch. Picks it up and he brings it back. Good boy, good boy. Have a go. Good boy. What? Good boy. Good boy. Clever boy. Clever, clever. What is clever about that? What is clever about running over there, picking up a stick and bringing it back here when it was here in the first place? You have to be a real pea-brain to be happy with that. And that goes on all day. Hey, boy. But eventually there's a point where the dog gets tired of it. And he wants to kind of wander off. And that's always the point when the master wants to go home. Hey, boy. And the voice changes. Hey, boy. Now it's not. Hey, boy. Now it's. Hey, boy. Stripes on him now. Hey, boy. Hey, boy. Now the dog wants to go. Hey, boy. Rose. Rose. Rose, come here. Rose, come. Get off him. Rose, get off him. Rosie. Come on. Rose. Rose. Come on, it's 5 o'clock. You hear me? And they take out one of those sonic whistles. Have you seen those things? And they go, and every dog in the... And they take out one of those sonic whistles. Have you seen those things? And they go, and every dog in the park goes... Come here, Brad! And by now, the master is now picking up rocks out of the ground and throwing them at his best friend. Not for his best friend to pick up and bring back, to take his bloody brains out. Now the dog thinks this is a new game. Now fetch the brick instead of the stick. And off he goes. And every time he picks it up, another one goes over his head, so he drops that one. And I've actually saw a fellow in Richmond Park as close to a cardiac arrest as anybody. I actually heard him say, if you do not come now, you will walk home.
Hello?
Is that Victoria Station?
No, it's not.
Are you still holding?
No, you got the wrong number, mate.
I'll just transfer.
Pop, so I held up in stores. Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Why don't you just piss off?
Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone, which was fine until he invented the second one. Now, when I was a child in the olden days, at home in Ireland, our phone was something that you looked at. You never touched it. It was taboo, off limits, only to be used in very serious matters or matters of emergency, and then only by adults. This telephone used to sit in our hallway like a black god. And we all used to talk in kind of servile, reverential tones. As a 3-year-old, I used to tiptoe past the bloody telephone. If it rang, I'd wet myself. It was a thing of awe. I mean, it was an extraordinary thing to tell them. And when the phone rang in our house, we would all, as a unit, as a family unit, we'd all gather around it. my father would pick up the phone. I mean, some of the greatest events in the world I discovered via the telephone. I'm 3 years of age, and my father picks up the phone then. We're all standing there, and he says, "Oh, dear," puts the phone down and turns to us all and says, "Adolf Hitler has invaded Poland." And they all went, "Oh, I'm 3. I go, "Oh." Another time, Aunt Alice is dead. And they all went, "Oh, Simon, oh." So the funeral's Tuesday, there'll be no school. Hooray! And it was a sneak as well. It knew everything, the telephone. We gathered around it one day. My father spoke into the telephone. It rang. He spoke into it. He put the phone down. He looked at me and he said, "What were you doing in Delaney's orchard?" Bloody telephone. Sneak on me. And then, over the years, as I grew, when I was about 7, I began to deal with it in a better way. I was aware it wasn't such an extraordinary item anymore. Got a bit casual with it, but it's still wary of it. A little bit daring. We'd pick it up occasionally and listen to the dialing tone. That's how far our daring went. The dialing tone. We'd all be sitting around going, I can hear the dialing tone. We'd invite friends. We'd all be sitting around listening to the dialing tone. We'd be in school. What did you do yesterday? I listened to the dialing tone. Shit, did you? My Christ. Can I come to your house and listen to your dialing tone? Yeah. I'll give you an apple. Yeah, fine. But the attitude to telephones has changed enormously over the years. Now that we all have telephones. We're all aware of telephones. We react to telephones. And we're now so sophisticated, so blasé. It's not a rarity for telephones. You know? You're sitting in your house, and your telephone rings. We have actually got to the point of sophistication. We don't want to talk anymore. The telephone rings in your house, and you'll say things like, "My God, is there no privacy? Can I never get away from this thing? God, I thought I'd do the whole day at work, and all the time, and I get home, and it's non-stop." Or you'll hear yourself say something like, "If that's for me, tell him I'm not here." Isn't that extraordinary? And now we've reached the point that we don't want to talk to people on telephones, so we have a machine. We've developed answering machines. Machines to answer machines. The first thing you do, you come home, you listen to your answering machine. And there'll be a message to say, "So-and-so rang, would you please ring back to such and such a number?" And you do, and you talk to his machine. And you go out, you come back, there's another message from this bastard, so you phone his machine again. This can go on for years. You meet each other in the street, and you've got no bloody idea what you were talking about. There are now machines. We talk about sophistication in machines, sophistication in machines. There are now machines. Not only can you program to receive calls, but you can actually program your telephone to send messages. At certain times of the day, you program, it will activate itself, it will phone certain numbers, it will leave a message, activate itself to record a message, right throughout the day. And you have nothing to do with it. You come home in the evening, and you possibly programmed your telephone, say, to make 14 calls through the day. Can you imagine coming home, and he's made 18? You're sitting there thinking, who's the little bastard talking to? What is he talking about? Is he talking about me? And is he paying for these calls? Who is? Have you noticed how perverse telephones are? If you're sitting in your house, alone, sadly lonely, feeling unloved or depressed or whatever it is, wanting, desiring some sort of contact with a human being, nobody will phone you. But on the other hand, if you're having a wonderful time, enjoying yourself to the extreme, like you haven't enjoyed yourself for a year, like you're sitting in a warm bath, beautiful hot bath, suffering joy, pleasure seeping into every pore of your body. Oh, it's very wonderful. Or you're squeezing a blackhead. Or you're making love, or doing all three at the same time. Every bastard in the world wants to talk to you. You nearly climax 7 times. Get back into the bath. Where was I? No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't. And then there's the other side with what I would call wrong numbers. The perversity of wrong numbers is is extraordinary. Have you ever noticed that wrong numbers are never engaged? You notice that? You'll always get through to a wrong number. You go home tonight, pick 10 random numbers from the phone book, they'll all answer, hello? Now we have domestic telephones, which are capable of taking 3 incoming calls at the same time on the one receiver. And people think that, isn't that wonderful? I'm Irish. I don't know. What the hell is that about? Why have 3 calls coming in? You can only answer or speak to one person at a time. But people seem to, people seem to love this. Gives them a sense of power. You're talking to somebody on the phone saying, hello, I know it's a nice day today. What did you do? And then they'll suddenly say, excuse me, hang on a second, will you? Would you just hang on a second? I've just got another call coming in. They go, what? I've got another call coming in. I've got one of those machines. Then they start to boast about it. I've got one of those machines that can take 3 incoming calls at the same time. So do you mind if I just put you on hold? You go, what? I'm just going to put you on hold, all right? Just for a few minutes. Hold. What? Hang on. So, wait, I was here first. Why don't you put those other people on bloody hold? Why me? And they go, and you're on hold. And not only are you on hold, not only are you paying for this, but now you're subjected to that digital crap music. You sit there, you're paying for the call, and it's going dong 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 dong. I mean, who wrote it? Some dyslexic throwback for Christ's sake? You're sitting there ding 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 ding. You talk about advanced technology. You don't have the telephones for the deaf now. Did you know that? They don't ring, they just light up, so the deaf person can see there's somebody on the phone. They pick it up and say, hello. Voice, would you believe me? Voice identification buttons. This is progress. Voice identification. Your telephone is capable, once you command it, to identify a voice and remember that. So if you're talking to somebody you don't like on the telephone, you press the button. And this informs your telephone memory bank that you don't like this person. And the next time they phone, your telephone will recognize the voice and cut them off. I had a telephone engineer at the house, and he's showing me the latest telephone. It has, believe it or not, I mean, I don't work for the CIA or MI5 or anybody like that, a secrecy button. On the telephone, secrecy button. It's actually clearly marked, secrecy button. And I said, what's a secrecy button? And he said, well, you know, when you're on a telephone, there's always a point in the conversation when you're talking to somebody that you don't want them to hear what you're saying. I said, there is? He said, yes, there is. It's not that you don't want to, it's just that you actually think they're an arsehole. There's always a point when you're talking to somebody and you think, what an arsehole. And what you normally do is you cover the mouthpiece and mime. You don't have to do that now. All you have to do is press the button. And you can say as loud as you like, he's an arsehole! And he won't hear you. And I said, well, hang on a second. If I'm talking to somebody and suddenly there's silence, I know he's pressed the button. And I know he's calling me an arsehole. And when he comes back, he'll say, now what was I saying? I was saying, you were saying I was an arsehole. I put the phone down. Now, in our society, at one time phones were rare. Now they're commonplace. They're everywhere. Portable phones are now the in thing. I wander around London. I sit on a tube, or I sit in a bus, trains, wherever I am. I see people sitting there, and they'll open a briefcase, or a handbag, or the satchel, or the pocket. Out this thing will come. And they go. You see them now on the streets, walking up and down the streets in London, talking on the telephone, and it's always that kind of. Yes, right. Yeah, yeah. Well, of course, yes. Well, I personally would, I'd keep it to my chest if I were you. I wouldn't let them know, because I think it might actually help them out. And you see these, and I'm thinking, I'm dying, I'm waiting. Oh, please, God. I go to church, I light candles. Please, God, let one of those bastards walk into a lamppost. I'd love to see them walking around. Yes, I'll phone you back. Hello, is that the ambulance service? Yeah, I broke my nose. Yes. Portable phone. Now we have portable. Now we have car phones. Car phones. Two of the most stress-making machines in the world have combined together: the telephone and the car. They account for more dead people in the world than any other two objects. Telephones and cars. Do you know the stress you go through on the telephone? Has anybody ever cut you off on the telephone? Has anybody ever... Oh, shut up! And put the phone down. Have you noticed? You continue to talk for about 10 or 15 seconds after that. You, what are you, how dare you? What the... Shut up! It's the same with cars. You watch people in cars. The stress of people in cars, the rage of people in cars. Now they've got the telephone in the car with them. Driving with one hand. God, you dickhead! No, not you. No, somebody else out there. I'm going to get one of those car telephones. Not because I want it for myself. I just want to be in a traffic jam and lean out to the person next to me and say, excuse me, it's for you. My children have grown up, in a sense, in a different way. Traffic jam and lean out to the person next to me and say, excuse me, it's for you. My children have grown up, in a sense, in a different way with the telephone than I did. I've actually, over the years, watched my children, who are not children any longer, young adults. I've watched the hand become an extension of the phone, or the phone become an extension of the hand. It is extraordinary, the need to talk on the telephone all the time. When they were younger, I would take them to school. I'd say, for example, my daughter Jane. I would take her to school in the morning. And not only would I take her to school in the morning, but I'd take all her friends to school in the morning as well. There was Belinda from next door. And then there was Melissa from 2 doors down. And then there was Alexander from somewhere else down the road. And they never stopped talking. I would just pick them up and go, hello Belinda, hello Jane, hello Alexander, hello Melissa, hello Melissa, and they all get in the car. And for 40 minutes we used to drive across London, and they were all the four of them. Verbal diarrhea pouring in torrents out of all that. And then I would drop them at school, still talking. I'd leave them there for 6 hours, knowing they were going to talk to each other for 6 hours. I'd pick them up, they'd still be talking. Back in the car across London. I'd drop them off. Goodbye, Belinda. Bye, Jane. Bye, Alexander. Bye, Melissa. Bye, Jane. Jane would go into the house. I'd park the car. I'd go into the house. She's on the phone. Who are you talking to? Belinda. Belinda lives next fucking door. Phone and the way it affects our lives. It's I have a son. My youngest son now is 21 years of age. Now, I'm not a father anymore to him. I'm a personal answering service. I spend my life answering the phone for him. I mean, we'll both be in the same room and the phone will ring. But he won't get up and answer it. I'll get up and answer it. And it's for him. And I say, it's for you. Why didn't you answer it? He said, I thought it was for you. No, in your mind's eye, see the house I live in. I live in a house, 3 stories, 3 floors. The phone is on the ground floor. My son lives in a converted attic at the very top of the house. So I'm sitting there, whatever I'm doing, and the phone will ring. It's for Edward. So I go to the bottom of the stairs, and I stand there and I go, Edward! Edward! Phone! Edward! So I go up to the first landing. Edward! Edward! Now, all my neighbors know Edward is wanted on the phone. I go to the second floor. Edward! Get off phone, you deaf dickhead! Now, not only do all the neighbors know that Edward's wanted on the phone, the whole neighborhood, everybody in my whole area knows Edward is wanted on the telephone, except Edward. He doesn't know. I go up to the top of the house. The door is locked. I kick it. I'm a ranting, demented beetroot now. Frothing on a... Edward! I open the door. He's lying on his bed, with bloody earphones on, his eyes closed, jigging away to the music. I stand over the bed. Edward! 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 Nothing. I grab him by the leg. By now I'm totally out of breath. He says, what? Hello, telephone. And he goes, thanks, Dad, and pisses off downstairs. What is it with young men, especially? Up to 18 years of age, they learn to speak English perfectly. They can speak perfect English. Hello, how are you? Good afternoon. Had a very nice day today. Then when they get to be 18, their brains become hemorrhoids. All that ability to speak the language goes. They become Neanderthal men. They begin. I mean, I watched them walk down the road. I sit at home. Edward's friends are always ringing. I pick up the phone. Hello. Hello. What is this, a yodeling competition? Apart from proving to me the ability that you have of saying, what do you want? What? I'm sorry. What are you saying? Are you saying? Fine, I know you're saying it, but what does mean? It means. Could you look? I'm sorry about this. You know, just bear with me. Be patient, please. Could you just do it a little bit more slowly so I can try and comprehend, right? I hear myself going. I think, what in the name of Christ is he talking about? And then I think, wait a second. It's Ed. Maybe. My son's name is Edward. Maybe they call him Ed. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe he's saying, is Ed in? And I just try it. I say, did you say, is Ed in? No, you didn't say, is Ed in, dickhead. You said, no, he's not. funny thing is, they have this need to repeat everything you say. He's not in.
He's not in.
No, he's not in.
Not in.
He's out.
No.
Yes, he's out. If he's not in, he's out. I know it's very difficult to understand that, but when you're out, it means you're not in. Or whether you're in, you're not out. It doesn't make any difference. All right? He's not here. No, he's not here. He's gone out.
When did he go out?
What?
When did he go out?
I don't know when he went out.
When did he come back?
I don't know when he's coming back.
When did he go?
I don't know where he went. I don't know where he went, when he's coming back. I'm his father. I'm a geriatric old fart who knows nothing. And then he'll say to me,
When he comes back?
I said, what?
When he comes back?
And I said, when he comes back,
Yeah, when he comes back, when you say that, Nya ring.
what?
Nya ring.
Nya?
Nya. Nya.
You want me to say to my son, when he comes home,
Nya ring. Nya.
all right, I'll do that.
Thank you. Been nice talking to you.
And when my son comes home, I say to him, I say, hey, Edward.
Nya ring.
And he knows who I'm talking about. Not only that, but I'll make up a whole conversation. And I'll say, he said, and my son will say, what time? Now, what's actually happened? There's an engineer working for Bell Telephones who's probably worked out, has solved the answer to all these domestic problems. As you know, that telephones now are not confined to making the one sound, like ring, 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 ring. Telephones today can make a variety of sounds. They can go making all sorts of sounds. And he's probably worked out the best answer to this is for each and every one of the individual members of the family to have their own sound. And you'd activate the sound by having the same number, the same one collective home number, and give an added digit to every member of the family. For example, my number would be my number plus 1, because I pay for the bastard, so I might as well have it. And that 1 would activate my tone, my sound, which would tell me this is for me. And my sound would be, say, ooh, ooh, ooh. And I would know, and everybody else would know, when the phone went, ooh, that's for Daddy, that's for me, that's mine, mine, me, mine alone, hello, hello, whoever you are. My son's code would be the number plus 2. And that would activate a totally different sound. Zip, 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 zip. Zip, 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 zip. Zip, zip, zip. So I would know, I don't have to, it's for him. But I'd be sitting there in the privacy of my own home all day, and the phone would be going zip, 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 zip. Zip, 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 zip. I'd have to pick it up and say, the bastard's not in! I have 2 telephones. I have a telephone which rings. Just nice. Ring, 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 ring. I have another one that sounds like an attacking eagle. I don't know why we need that. It does. It's in the kitchen. It sits on the wall. It doesn't actually sit on the wall. It's perched on the wall. And I'm sitting there in the morning, and mornings are not my best time. I'm sitting there reading the paper, trying to lift a cup of coffee. And suddenly the phone will go, bloody coffee everywhere, all the time. And I pick it up and I say, hello. Nanya, get off the line! Do we have parents here? Do we have parents in the audience? Do your children use the telephone? Yes. Have they at any time ever, once in all their lives, said to you, Daddy, Mommy, can I pay for that call? Little bastards. You spend your life with this, and then eventually they grow up and they leave home. They depart. You've got rid of them. Get out. Go away. Into the world they go. The phone will ring. It's them reversing the charges. Not to find out how you are, but whether there are any calls for them. I will say good night. Thank you. And may your God go with you.